really Dickie should be telling this story, so I'll tell it quick and you can correct me as we go. And I'll try to make it short, but in somewhere back in 1983, and that was before we had a base anywhere except Dallas, at Dick's lead, the pilots decided to go over to the Houston Ronald McDonald House and cook dinner. And that was just one guy with an idea that everybody in here knows what we do today. And the Ronald McDonald House people say it is the best charitable corporate union that has ever been made. And that's because of Dick East. And one guy had one little idea. So my moral to that story is, don't ever think something you do, how small it is, can't change the world, because it did.
Okay, guys, a lot of you have heard this story, but I'm going to tell it again for the people that haven't heard it, okay? You know, I cooked at Ronald McDonald House last night. We're in the 25-and-a-half-year point, okay? And it's a free meal. I'm a pilot. Come on, okay? But I want to go back to the first day Herb ever came, really. And the real truth was that Camille Keith had heard about this project that the Pilots Association was sponsoring in Houston. We were taking the pilots and flight attendants from the hotel on the overnight to the Ronald McDonald House. And Camille heard about it. Camille came down and she helped us cook. And she looked at me and she says, Camille's back there. There she is. And Camille says to me, can Herb and Colleen come help? And I'm going, that's easy. So they came down. So we could drink beer. Second month we figured out we could drink beer. And I'm putting beer in an ice chest at the end of the food line. And Herb walks up and he taps me on the shoulder. And Herb says to me, he says, Dick, what can I do to help? And I said, Herb, go out there and see if those dads want another beer. Okay? And then I just backed away. Well, Herb spent that was 4:30. And from 4:30 until 6 o'clock, Herb walked from the refreshment table to each family that was staying in the house and filled up their beer, their iced tea, their lemonade, and their water. He did not talk to one employee for an hour and a half. All he did was visit with each one of the families in the house. And I'm standing back in the background kind of watching the kitchen and watching Herb going, I think this man understands why we're here. And that's how, and somebody at the Love Classic, they asked me, they said, you know, when you started this, did you know it was going to get this big? And I said, I knew it was going to get this big when I knew it was going to get this big was that this is all over with. Now I'll tell you the story about the wild turkey some other time. Yeah, I do remember the ride back to the airport, and Jim Amos was the vice president. Herb was there, and Jim Amos was vice president. Herb says, Dick, you're spilling your drink on your boss. But when we went to leave, we're standing on the front porch of the Ronald McDonald House, and Herb and I are shaking hands, and I'm going, thank you, Herb, knowing what's going to happen. And Herb's looking at me going, no, thank you, Dick. What a great idea. And that's when I knew it was going to get as big as it is today. And here it is, 25 and a half years later. Nobody understands why we're in the Ronald McDonald House better than Herb Kelleher. Absolutely understood why we're there.
Those are awesome stories. Did y'all enjoy that? Real quick, Annie's pretty mad at me for asking her to do this because she doesn't like to speak, but to make it up for you, I just wanted to wish you a happy belated birthday, and everybody wish Annie a happy belated birthday. And Annie's also celebrating her 30th year this year, right? 30 years. You guys, thank you all for doing that. Before the big round of applause, so many people, weren't you thinking, God, I wish I was there. I wish I was at Southwest then. It's our job right now to make Southwest so awesome so that years from now when we're telling our stories, people will be thinking, gosh, I wish I was there. So take this and go with it. And so huge round of applause. Oh. Haas is celebrating 30.
To kind of go with what Mallory was saying, when I started here, I mean, it was a long time ago, but it was all about the originals. It's all everybody talked about. It's about the originals. And I thought, I will never be part of this company. You can be any part you want to be.
So take everything you heard here today and run with it, and let's give these guys a huge round of applause. And thank you for everything they've done for us.